sure the screws were tight.
We'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance as I call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting?
I'm on time.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Jason makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by John. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Everybody had a chance to look and review the bills. Are there any questions on it? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Just wondering on the Smitty's transmission for the truck, is that just the water truck that you take out to the water treatment?
Or was it the plow truck with transmission on?
That was the one, the gray, that was a different, that was a gray pickup, I guess. Cause all that stuff, stuff can split them on all
You just divided it.
the.
I mean-
The pickup is used for.
That one, this one does?
Yeah. It was just one of the regular pickups.
I'll check.
I'm still getting used to like the split, the bills.
It does get used for.
Let's
Let's see here, 57441 if that helps. For the payable number.
Okay. Sandville, we're getting there. CWAC. There we go. Yep, it was split. There you go. Split between water, sewer, electric, and streets. Equal. Mm-hmm.
I'll make the motion to approve the bills.
Nicole makes the motion. Is there a second?
Like I'm in the wrong business.
You just gotta take different work.
It's actually low.
Yeah, I do I do transmissions.
You did jack it up.
Was there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jason. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carried. Has everybody had a chance to look at the delinquent bill list?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded by Jason and Nicole. John?
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Nicole,
Yes.
and a yes for me. Anybody like to address the commission tonight? All right. Commissioners' reports, we'll start with John tonight.
It's the one time we can recognize you. Otherwise, we just forget you're over there.
I don't have anything today.
Okay, Nicole?
I actually have a couple things tonight. Job applicants, so the job applicant that we chose, was not willing to relocate to Hillsboro. So, thoughts on, I guess we've spent about $1,500 in looking for someone. Are we okay with searching for candidates again, or thoughts and theories on that moving forward? The other applicants were out of state, and so we went by who we thought would be more relatable to the job and for what they do. So, are you guys okay with us putting it back out for 30 days?
I think
Thoughts?
I think one of the concerns, about keeping advertising local is the position that we're advertising for does have qualifications in it that, I mean, Zach and Jim were probably the only ones that have the qualifications. So I don't think it's a position that we're gonna fill from somebody just within the Hillsboro area currently, so.
Probably.
There's another one that works for another water utility, so, but yeah, as far as finding somebody in town with those certifications.
Great.
Well, and
Yeah.
one question was from the out-of-state ones were, would we pay to relocate? And that was like one of the main concerns that they had for ones that were qualified. And so we've never done that before, but
I don't think we want to get into that business
I
yet.
don't think so either. So, that kind of narrows it down to, around here, but I also realized too, we probably didn't place in the position description either that said, willing to relocate or be within, 15 minutes or whatever it is.
Right.
I think the big question is how far are we willing to let somebody live? If we do let them live outside city limits, how far? What's the cutoff? I think we're really limiting ourselves, saying, I get the need to want to have somebody in town, but we're really limiting our options at that point, especially with qualified candidates. So.
I think 15 minutes is acceptable because it gives you, I think we've asked a half hour to be from the time you get a call to get in. So that's kind of hard. And, when we had one out by Caledonia, they were able to get in enough time. So
Okay.
even Mayville, I mean, we let Roy do that for a while. So
And then Roy moved here?
Roy ended up moving here.
That might, I don't know.
My concern would be, we got a lot of people local now, but 5, 10, 20 years down the road, are we gonna end up with 3/4 of our staff living out of town? Then we have a snowstorm?
Right.
That would be, we don't have that issue now. One person isn't gonna kill us, we got enough people, but you start getting,
On the other hand, you might run into a scenario where you can't find
right,
local
Right.
people. You have to hire out of town. You hope it doesn't, but.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it both ways. I think, past the 15-minute mark might open a little box there, but then again, in the future, thinking, are we gonna find people more locally? But, I know I talked to Zach, a few of my concerns being that far out too, just because it is, I don't want it to weigh on the staff at some point, that they would pick up that work.
And that's my concern too, is that, somebody else has to pick up even though it's supposed to be spread out throughout evenly.
Yeah.
Well, let's say they're coming out of Grand Forks or Park when the interstate shut, are you still expecting them to respond?
how does on-call even work?
Exactly.
So I don't know if we should update that description to just say, within a 15-minute, must be located at least within 15 minutes or closer to Hillsboro, or is there anything of wording you guys would like to see?
Zach and I had looked in the handbook just to see if there was a set policy, and there's not. It's an unofficial policy currently. There's nothing in our handbook.
Do you set miles out of town, or do you set a time saying you need to be here 30 minutes? And wherever.
I think like hospitals, it's within 15 minutes. It's a time, not a mileage.
Right. It's time, and that's
If
where
I
I think we've
remember
said
correctly.
15, or 30, but 15 miles gives you time to get ready to get in, so. Grand Forks and Fargo are just not within that. I think, like Mayville, if they want to live in Mayville, that fits in within it. I know it's not in the handbook, but it's kind of been official policy as long as I've been on, and long before that too, so. I think before they even made them stay in town, and then we started being a little bit more lenient by allowing them living outside of town.
Okay.
But how long are you willing to wait to, if you don't get anybody in another month?
How about, was
A
there
good
any,
qualified person comes along, do we, I don't know. I don't want to drag it on and on and on because we can't find anybody either. But, but how long are we willing to wait? How long are you willing to wait?
We need time to get somebody trained in before
Yeah.
April. So it's gonna get very.
Yeah.
was any of the seconds or the other applicants you had interested, or they weren't?
Potential second that was willing to relocate here. Mine was on, Zach, are you 100% on this or not 100%? So, it just wasn't 100%.
Or do you ask within and see if any of our current employees want to move up to do some more of it? And then we look at another employee, public works employee.
Yeah. So,
If one of them wanted to take the distribution or the sewer side itself, if we're gonna run that other water plant, that's gonna take all my focus, for sure.
And some of the reporting and those types of things. See if somebody wants, that's my suggestion, see if that, and then open it up again. And
So do both of those have us open it back up, have him also ask for, okay.
Or do we want to open it up, so if we're opening up, then it's going online and we're spending all this money getting these out-of-state applicants, is it worth it if none of them are willing to relocate? That's a lot of money to be putting out there for people that don't want to come anyways.
I mean, you could put in there to, must be willing to relocate.
Right.
No relocation assistance.
And maybe it's one of those things where the job description is different compared to what we did post, because we were looking for a very high-level supervisor is what we were looking for. Just because there's enough projects that are going to be happening that require that skill if the positions are combined. So is that something that you guys want to change? Do you want to do like what Zach suggested, have somebody just do distribution and sewer? What kind of direction do you want to go?
I think you could open it up as several options, say this or this or this, whichever one we could find.
Okay.
Would you want the pay to stay kind of the same?
I think it would depend, not.
I think it's.
So then change it to depending on,
Depending on
Experience.
experience or what position you're gonna go into.
yeah.
Just my thoughts.
No, I like that too.
Everybody else okay with that? Okay.
Okay, the other thing is, JR and myself Casey and Levi met with Charlie, a member of the county, and the airport to go over kind of the taxation. Seemed like we really didn't know how the airport has ran and it sustains. So after our conversations, why the possessory tax sounded new was because the hangars are actually, a majority of them are already owned. So the ones that are owned, they're already paying the taxes. So they wanted an updated roster of all of the hangars out there, and then what ones were being rented, which ones were owned, so that the county could bill out that possessory tax. I think it comes out, they're thinking maybe around $40 extra a month. The airport had requested that this take place in 2026, and that's not up to the city, that's up to the county. So I had let the airport know that they do have to take it to the county to ask for that, to help push that back so the airport can plan to generate enough to sustain keeping the hangars at the price that they're at now. So the price that they're at now is $235. The hangars around our areas are way below that. Grand Forks is even lower. So what they are afraid of is that if they put on a tax on top of that, that they'll pull out of these hangars and go to the ones that are much lower in cost. Because we are higher than some of the other airports, especially like the Grand Forks airport. So at the end of the discussion, the airport does have where they were approved for the next 3 years for grant funding to build more hangars. Because of this taxation, they are now not sure if they're going to pull back and not build more hangars. So they are going to see if they can sustain off of what they have now, and take and pay for a portion of that tax. So that's kind of where we're sitting with it right now. According to the sheet, there's about 28 hangars. Some are used for equipment, some are rented out. Some of them are actually just rented day by day. So the county is going to work with the airport on what that tax would even look like, because obviously you have one person putting a plane in there, it's hard to tax one day. And all that information is off to them now. That's kind of the story behind like the possessory tax. So it's, if you have an entity that rents out to a taxable entity, it will be taxed because it's rented. If it's if it's a tax exempt entity, a nonprofit, then you don't charge the tax for renting it out. And that's how that possessory tax works. So that's kind of what the meeting was about. I don't know if I missed any pieces. I don't think I did, but okay. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask, but that is where we're sitting with that one. And then the water, Zach, I'll have you talk about that one with the pipe detectives. Yeah.
They're making progress. Progress is slow. They're spending a lot of time cleaning so they can get their cameras through. There's a lot of debris in the pipes. So they're about halfway done. I think they thought they'd take 3-4 weeks. I think they're on week 4 now and about halfway done. With that, they call it, it's extra heavy cleaning costs, they call it. So they do so many pulls that they're better. And then send their cameras through. If they need to clean more, then it's additional an hourly fee on top of that. We're about 50% done. Right now we're at about 10,000 extra for heavy cleaning costs right now. That's kind of where we're at. So the rest of the town could be better, worse, the same. You don't know until we get there.
What areas are you finding that it's been more heavy?
It's the bigger pipes. You know, the smaller 8-inch, 10-inch are okay. It's as we get into the bigger pipes where there's low flow. It's a lot of sand, a lot of pieces of clay pipe that have broken off, and then bricks and chunks of concrete and stuff that come up. I was talking to Steve today, and his comment is, yeah, it's more money, but it's Not that we wanted to find it, but it's what we're looking for, it's the bad areas, the tough pipe that needs work.
Right.
Before we do anything, so that's what they're finding.
But that tells us where we need to replace and what we might have to.
Yeah. You know, I was gonna ask you guys if you, certain, I think the bid was 110. How much we wanna fudge from that, we wanna do the whole thing, so we can keep a pretty close eye on it, I think, week by week, and then if there's a certain dollar amount we wanna stop, or have them do the whole thing, then we have it, so we're ready to do the street project, or what we wanna do as far as that.
I think we really need to know.
Well, and
Unfortunately, it's gonna cost us, I mean, if you think about it, 10,000 now extra will save us, could save us hundreds of thousands in the end.
And it's 10 now, it's gonna go up, they're only half done, so.
yeah,
Maybe
so-
20, I don't know, like I said, we don't know until they get into
Yeah.
the rest. The other comment is about, I was talking to the guy today, if the weather turns cold, they'll probably pull out, so they'll get as much done as they can. They might have to finish it up in springtime. Depending, when it gets too cold, they can't get water for it all day long, so they'll go as long as they can. So.
any questions on that one?
And I assume some of this is what we haven't jetted before, or
It
if
has
it's been 4 years,
The
or,
thing with Jetway is they jet it quarter every year. They're running a jetter up a few times until what's visibly in the manholes somewhat clear. Where these guys are jetting and then running a camera and seeing more where they can't get their camera through, so they have to. They're seeing everything that's in the pipe, where with the previous maintenance is just visually kind of, you're seeing what water's coming out, it's tough to tell.
we're seeing that there's flow before, now we're getting it clean.
No, they're visually seeing that the pipe is, this pipe's been in the ground for 75, 80, however long, it's that much, many years of collection, sand.
Right.
So,
So
Have
with
they-
this process, I'm hoping that it'll kind of leave the maintenance a little bit easier too for Jetway, because now the pipes will be cleaned up.
Well, we shouldn't have 30,000 next year for Jetway, so. So I would say spend up to that, at least. That's
so,
normally
yeah,
what we
it's
spend.
Chunks of clay tile, and they're finding cracks in pipes and stuff like that, so they are finding stuff to work on.
Crawling in there and taking them chunks out for it?
Are they?
Somebody crawling in there and taking them chunks out?
They're sucking them out, there's a big pile of them, they're doing the clay tile pipe.
How big can they take
Well,
out?
it depends on the their nozzle like that, if it's bigger, it just sucks up to it, so they lift it out and pull it on. There's a big,
That's
big
quite a
piece.
vacuum, huh? That's quite a vacuum.
I suppose this would also tell if we need to replace pipe or if we can reline it or so.
I'm hoping that, I was talking to Steve about relining today, he's not real familiar with it, but that's an option of lining it versus
Oh,
digging it and replacing it.
Right.
How about the company that does it? Do they have any experience with it? Or not doing it, but just know
This
how the
company-
results have been?
This company that's doing the work,
Mhm.
I haven't talked to him about it. I know they do, on the side of their truck, it said something about repair, might be smaller work, I don't know what they do, but there's several companies, even Fargo, that do the lining, so there's local companies that do it.
I think some city not far from here just did a whole,
Fargo does a ton of it every year, I know,
really?
you know, we're looking at a street project, so I guess tearing up, replacing the
Yeah.
pipe isn't as big a deal. You still disturb the ground, you're settling and all that stuff, but if you have decent streets, which is bad pipe underneath, then the lining really makes sense. So,
right.
They'll look at footage and see where the bad areas and how bad.
Okay.
I move that, do we need a motion or not?
You can, yeah, that would help.
I can move that we'll spend up to $30,000 then.
Excellent. On top of it.
Yep.
Is there a second?
I'll second
Moved by Paul, seconded by John. Any other discussion? Nicole?
Yes.
Jason?
it. Yes.
John?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Any yes for me? Anything else?
Oh, no, I think that's everything. Yep.
Okay. Jason?
Only thing I have is the fire department obviously went to the two big elevator fires here in the last couple of weeks, so they've been busy. Everybody made it safe, so that's the big thing.
Good. Anything else?
Nope.
Paul?
On the electrical side, of course, we're still waiting on a substation, if we're gonna be able to get that over there. I've been kind of working on with Roy a little bit on some budget items, getting them narrowed down a little bit better on things, working with him. That's not really his, we didn't hire him for that necessarily, so it's a learning curve for him on that, and I appreciate that he's taking the time to do that. Of course, we have our HEDC meeting on Monday at 5:30, next Monday, and it's moved over to the Trail County Water Resource, or whatever they call that building now, the old LLP building, right down the street here. Okay, then we got strategic planning. It looks like most of them are, that I've talked to, the first option was the best for the strategic planning. So we'll probably go ahead and I'll let her know on that we'll go with those dates. And if you looked at that at all, it talks about community stakeholders and of course city staff and council. So if anybody knows of somebody that's a city that they feel would be important to be there, young or old, please let me know. That could have a lot of, it could help with the input on the study there. So please keep that in mind and just text me or whatever if you think of a name that somebody, and that doesn't matter if it's you city guys or office here or commissioners. Let us know if there's somebody you think should be there that we don't want to miss from that standpoint. That will be held at the community center December 16th and December 17th. The first day will start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and go till 7:30, and the second day starts at 8 a.m. and goes till 1. So let's see here. I guess that's all that I have. So not a lot on beautification, but it's that time of year, I guess.
Oh, can I add to yours, Paul, too?
Yep.
So I don't know if it's EDC's or the city, but there is like the vibrancy grant from the Commerce Department. I've been kind of looking into some of those things, but there is, if you go out and look up the vibrancy grant, there's we might have some potential there, also with the rural catalyst, but the vibrancy, I was thinking beautification there, Paul, with like Railroad Park or things like that. It's things that you can do in your community to make it vibrant or activity wise, but I just don't know who, like what entity would look at that part. So probably something to maybe look at and talk over on what,
Right.
some ideas.
I know I don't have the skill set to do it, but if somebody's willing to do it or we can find somebody to do it, that's,
I mean, if we can come up with the project to do or whatever it may be, then I might be able to find somebody, sweet talk somebody into it.
yeah, there might be some ideas going down the road, but I guess we gotta, first things first, get our first step done.
Yeah,
Before we start looking at anything else, so.
Yeah.
But I appreciate
Yeah.
you're looking at that stuff, so I wish I was better up on that stuff, so.
I always got my eye on the prize.
I don't know if there's anybody in town, I'd be curious if there's anybody in town that does that kind of grant writing that would be willing to, that we could maybe hire to do some of that for us. But that might do it out of the kindness of their hearts because they live in the city of Hillsboro, wanted to see it get better, do it, or at least help guide us to do it or something, so.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Well, just
Everybody's time is
some
valuable.
food for thought for you guys to think about
Yeah.
as you go around the community, what you would think
Yeah.
would be good.
When you're talking to people, say, hey, by the way, I noticed you're good at this. Would you be interested? Start that conversation. So you never know who you might run into. That's all I got.
That's all you got, Paul? Planning and zoning is moving forward on a lot of things. The seems to go that our new building inspectors are doing really well, and the process seems to go okay for that. Casey told me that we are close to finishing up our audit.
It's been going much better now that it's year after year after year, or because of the change to Tyler Tech might have.
That'll hit next year
Okay.
for the 25 audit. 24s, there were some road bumps, not anything bad, but just kind of head scratcher moments that we had to do a lot of investigation into. So
In
yeah.
25, it'll be all hers, and she knows it'll in and out, so it'll go much easier. I think.
Yep, and we have a monthly to-do list, and everything is getting done on that. So, and that would have been a huge thing to be using in 24. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
So yeah, that's getting close. Then speaking on the Rural Catalyst Grant, I didn't know if you guys have any ideas or would like to go towards that. So it can be used for strengthening rural communities to address any critical needs, economic development, health, wellness, or preserving grocery stores, support quality of life such as improving access to healthcare, essential services, education, housing, or transportation, encourage partnerships, collaboration between local organizations, businesses, and government entities, support innovative approach to address unique challenges faced by rural areas, and foster community development and revitalization efforts in the region. It is a 50% match up to 500,000. So if we put in 100,000, then it would be matched up to 200,000. But you can total up to 500,000. So potentially you could have $1 million to work with if you put that all together. And I don't remember the exact amount of how much they're doing, but 50% of it's going to anybody less than 1,500, and then it has to go to any place less than 4,500.
They have the last day to submit is January 7th.
Yep. So the one thing that I kind of thought that might work for us to help revitalize and do some things is to create not just a one and done, like buy a property that is dilapidated, but buy it, take those funds we regenerate from it and keep buying, and so it's kind of more of a self-sustaining fund to some aspect of it.
Like revolving?
Kind of like a revolving, where Jer's house is, Mom's house is dilapidated, he doesn't want to do anything with it. We can buy it for pennies on the dollar and say that we'll do this. Then the city would tear it down, sell it back as maybe a low interest loan where they can, if they build within X amount of years, there's a lot of details to work out, but, and then it's paid back into that fund so that you can still keep using it to do the same type of things. Just one thought, but it's up to you guys whether or not we would like to apply for it. If it's something that you think we should work on, if not, I'm not going to spend time on it, but it can be used. One of the criteria does say slum and blight removal, but there are stipulations you have to have it owned before you start doing it, so that's hard for us. Community health and wellness project, expansion of new business project to address critical needs, preserving and opening grocery store, libraries, pacemaking, museum, recreation related, and transportation. The other thing I thought is maybe we could get some type of building as a catalyst for new business to come in, kind of like what Paul has tried to do with his own.
I definitely don't want to see it go to waste. Because I think we have many unique challenges to address.
We do, so would you like us to keep looking at it as a whole? Are you willing to put money into it if needed?
Where are we gonna come up with that money?
So it's not you spend 500,000, they give you 500,000, we have to spend 500,000 and then
It's a 50% match.
500,000 will give them.
It's a match. One-for-one non-state funded match. But it can be in-kind donation as well. But nothing can be done before, so.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, to Jason's question, where would that 500,000, or up to, I should say, 500,000 come from?
Well, I think if we figured out something, that would be something that I would ask possibly HEDC and others in the community if this is something that they want to buy into to help with. But
If it's a revolving, though, that's,
I just don't want to I don't want to put effort into it and then you guys say, no, we don't want to do this. So.
I'm just curious where we would come up with the money with all the other projects we got rolling.
It has to be completed by June 30th, 2027, so it wouldn't have to come out of next year's budget. It could be planned into the 27 budget, which it could then come out of possibly sales tax along with others funds as well.
I'll have to put some thought into it, but I mean, if it was something that was spent, then turned to revolving, I might.
Well, that's my thought, instead of putting money into something and then it just, there was a few years ago, there was the Hillsboro, Paul, who was the group that redid some of the buildings downtown?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that name of that group was, that's been a while.
But they took it, rebuilt it, got it back in, we got economic development out of it, but then that was kind of the end of it, so is there a way to help and get things going again?
Do you happen to know if this was something that Watford City used for their downtown, or?
This is brand new.
Okay.
They'd be too big of a city too.
I think Watford City just used oil.
Oil funds to redo their downtown?
Is there anybody against us looking into it and figuring out? Nothing would be spent or done until you guys approve it, but I just want to know.
I think it's worth looking into.
Okay.
I've kind of seen it advertised across many platforms lately, so it's a pretty big thing right now. We don't know what the project would be or how much yet, so.
No, we got to figure that out.
So it's not.
We have a lot of challenges though, so
Yeah.
that fit any one of those criteria, so. Okay, well, I'll keep looking and working on that. Okay,
If there's anything you guys can think of too.
Would like even the electrical qualify for that? No. I was thinking if there were businesses that we didn't have the electricity for before.
I don't think so, because it doesn't say anything about
Infrastructure.
infrastructure in there.
Yeah, I'm curious on the encourage partnerships and collaboration between local organizations, businesses, and government entities. I don't know what that one looks like. I don't know what the partnership and collaboration looks like for something like that, what their definition of would be for that.
It could be just throwing out, let's say we bought a building downtown that was used to bring in new businesses. But HBA can be part of that to help drive in new business, or we can use it for local organizations to have their meetings and whatever else in there.
Okay.
It's just working together. I think the biggest thing is whatever it is, it needs to be self-sustainable. So,
Right.
you know, yeah, we could go buy a bus with us and transport people Grand Forks and Fargo, because that's our biggest need of getting workers in. But if, once the funding's gone, it's not gonna work, well, what's the point of doing it?
Right. You want something to self-sustain,
So,
right?
yes. So, okay. Somebody has any ideas, let me know.
Just have some other cities and ask.
Except they're flying for it.
What you doing? What you doing?
Yeah, that's-
Stealing your idea.
Yeah.
We've already applied yesterday.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything from, I assume you don't have anything else?
No,
Zach?
Dave's got everything.
Okay. JR, do you have
Dave's
anything?
got everything I had.
Nothing for me.
Casey?
I can't think of anything.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Anything else from the sheriff's office?
Nope.
We have no new business. The old business, has the employees had a chance to look at the handbook?
We all hung out on Wednesday last week
Okay.
and went through it.
And?
There were a few suggestions, little bit from everybody. I'm gonna pull it up over here. I gave a quick synopsis or a quick rundown of it in the email that I sent. There was suggestion, on the employee, it's page 20 or 21, with the, clothing allowance. City Hall is requesting to put in for one logo shirt a year. We thought it would just be nice to have some representation at, like MRES events and League of City events. Or yeah, North Dakota League of Cities events. And we saw that there were a few other cities that have it in their policy, so we thought, well, it can't hurt to ask, so we put it in. The other suggestions were with Public Works. We put in, for consideration, beanies, gloves, typical winter wear, just because that's not in there. I just have to get to the page. There was also discussions and requests to reinstate certificate awarding and increasing, having increase in pay for certificates. There's a few cities that I knew of just because it was actually a topic not that long ago in the city auditor listserv. So I just put down what I had seen. So we'll get to that, but yeah, here's what was requested. Gloves, a sweatshirt, one per year for Public Works, and a beanie hat. City Hall staff, one logoed shirt per year. And then we took out all of the prices with the exception of the bathing suits for the lifeguards. And we increased the request of fire-resistant clothing from 2 to 5. Roy said he probably won't ever utilize purchasing 5 pairs of each, but he already has a pretty good stack of fire-resistant clothing. So this would be intended for those who are coming in kind of new to the electrical department. So, and Brian himself doesn't have a whole lot of fire-resistant clothing because it is expensive. And then we had a little discussion of, would fire-resistant qualify as personal protective equipment, PPE? In that line of work, yeah, it might. I think we thought there was a decent argument for that, I guess, so.
On that, I'd rather see it, we buy 5 the first year and then 2 every year after instead of saying 5 every year.
And do that.
5 for new hires and
2 every year after.
I think if we're paying for all of this, maybe we should look at when it gets to be this much more logoed stuff and we put it on there.
Have logos on the items?
Like run it through the office that says, these are the items that you can choose from. There's stores out there now that you can have several different choices.
And has anyone checked with Mary in town here from CCCO?
I haven't, no.
I think she does branded.
Yeah. The one thing with the electrical, they did say they didn't mind branded, but it would have to be fire resistant, threading.
Right.
So that'd be the big thing.
I like,
Does she do embroidery?
huh?
Does she do embroidery or just stamping?
You know,
Just stamps, I think.
I think she does the screen printing, but I don't think I've seen any embroidery yet, but that doesn't mean, no, but I've seen her with everything else. But I do like the logo idea, especially for meetings.
Yeah, and we've purchased a few shirts on our own, you know, and just because I like being represented, but, you know, sometimes, you know, I don't know that my other staff would maybe do that, and I like them to go to some meetings, so.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to vote on anything tonight, just to think about it, because you guys are still working on finding out some more information on the certificates, and then Roy's still working on the job descriptions, but just wanted to give you an update on it. Any other thoughts on the handbook, on those that came from employees?
I'm just trying to think of how many sets of clothes and all that they would make sense.
Well, we had spend up to, didn't we? We had, the last time we talked about,
So, yeah, Sanford Ambulance, they pay, if you're a PRN employee, you get 1 shirt, 1 t-shirt, and you have to have 1 dress shirt. And you get pants and boots every other year, and jackets as needed. Belts, all those things are as needed. A full-time employee gets 2 or 3 pairs of pants. Same with the shirts, t-shirts or polos, and plus their dress shirts. It's a little different schedule where they work usually a few days on and a few days off, so I do know they do offer that. I just think if we're going to start paying more and more, we should be making sure that it's representative of the city stuff. I'm guessing Jason gets his paid for, but you gotta wear stuff on it too, so.
Yeah, all of our stuff is specifically picked out. And I'm not against that, because that, if we're doing that, we have several options, we can look at it and say, this is reasonable, this is too
Right.
much.
Right, and that's where, yeah. And if you say new hires get maybe 1 or 2 more to get started, and then the rest get. So, I'll let you guys think about that, and we'll come back to it.
Could we make it as simple as needed? You know, if somebody's clothes are worn out and they bring it in and say, hey, here's what my stuff looks like, I could use a couple more pairs, can we just do it on the as needed basis?
You could, yeah. some as needed won't ever replace because they really like it, because it's really, really comfy.
But the same thing, if you buy them 2 every year, they're still gonna.
Right, yep. I think we can find a happy medium. That's kind of what I said, where maybe we take it and change it to employees will be provided clothing as needed for their positions.
This is just one of the websites that, we've gotten logos done at a spot in Fargo, and I was just gonna show you, like, everything that they kind of carry on one of their websites. They go through 2 main people, so they've got quite a bit to choose from. Yeah, all of the fun brands, like I know we've gotten hats for the guys, Richardson's, right? Yeah, they've got Richardson's. They carry Carhartt, they carry Gildan, they carry just about everything, so. Yeah, and as long as you order the clothing through these guys, the embroidery, is only $8 for the standard size logo, that's about that big, so it's not too bad for embroidery if you guys want that. Yeah. Or if Mary has the option to do embroidery, we can check that too. So.
Well, let's talk about this again next meeting. If you want to come up with some ideas and see, Zach, if you want to bring them back to them and see if they think that would work. Or Casey, see what the rest of them say, or Paul on your Monday morning meetings.
Just have clothing as needed, that
As
type
needed,
of
yeah. Just a thought.
Would it be up to the supervisor, or who would decide as needed? The
One person.
supervisor?
You need a whole new wardrobe.
The
I was just gonna
supervisor.
say that we need somebody that says, hey, Zach, I think you've got your money out of that one. You need to get something new.
That's
You
why I
can
said
save
this
those for
one.
when you're down in the dirt hole. Or the muddy situations, then that's when you bring out the old stuff.
Start to schedule that.
Yeah.
We just throw it in the back of the truck.
Reminder, for winter parking, make sure you have the vehicles off the streets during large snowfall events. And between 2:30 and 6 a.m. Sidewalks, remember to keep those areas downtown cleaned. We are closed for the Thanksgiving holiday on the 27th and 28th. And we will be meeting again on the 1st. Does anybody else have anything for the good of the order? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded by Nicole and John. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Meeting is adjourned. I was trying.